I want to thank everyone for coming here. I also note that Darren Tang has joined us, Sylvie Faubin as well, and the top brass of WIPO, so I'm very pleased to welcome you here. And I also want to thank our partners in this venture, this event, the Federation of European Publishers and the publisher Bertelsmann. I'll introduce 4 publishers from around the world. They will each give a very short pitch about an innovative new educational publishing venture or resource that they've brought with them. Education publishers, classically, they find a gap in the market, in their local market, and they gather together a team of local writers, editors, researchers, illustrators, and designers, and they put together a package that will fill that gap in the local curriculum. They are the engine of creativity and innovation in the education publishing sphere. The investment that each company puts in to this venture, these resources, it varies from book to book, from resource to resource, but it can take up to 3, 5, and in some cases 10 years before these publishers can actually go out and sell the first copy of this resource. The IPA's Education Publishers Forum is very clear about the best way of delivering education. They talk about the local stories being written by local authors and being produced by education publishers that are locally based. That's the best way of exciting students and teachers to tell the stories on the page or on the screen. The best way to ensure this long-term sustainable educational ecosystem is, in our opinion, so that for governments to support and develop their own local resources and skills with a strong and stable copyright regime, with local exceptions and limitations, not a one-size-fits-all harmonization of global copyright. The first person to come up is Cayube Diaz from Brazil, from FTD Publishers. He wants to talk to you about a program called Faixa.
So thank you, Jose. The book's called Faixa. As we don't have much time, I'm going to start asking you, I'm going straight to the point, I'm going to start asking you to imagine 2 different educational scenarios, okay? So the first one is a school in Brazil, in São Paulo, nearby Paulista Avenue, the financial center of the country, and you can find interactive whiteboards in every classroom. You can, there, the teachers, they are fairly paid, and they were well educated. At home, those students, they have access to all sorts of cultural goods. Their parents get home and they read books, they discuss about political issues. So that's the first scenario. So moving now to the second scenario, a really different one. It's same city, same country, São Paulo, Brazil, but lower medium class type of school where you can find chairs, blackboard, and teachers. So the innovation I'm presenting to you here is not a gadget, could be, it's not a software, also could be. It's a set of digital resources and books that have active methodology so that this teacher in the second scenario school, they could help the students to have a better chance to succeed on their goals.
Thank you, Cayube. The second speaker is Rodrigo Castillo from UNO-I in Mexico.
What I'm going to talk a little bit about is an educational solution. Actually, we call it an educational transformation model for school in Mexico and Latin America. Because as you know, if you're familiar with the PISA results, you know that Latin America is consistently at the bottom of the table here. We really want to help students learn and develop their competencies. So what we did is this brand that you see here, it's UNO-I, It's a full model that gets implemented in the school. It actually incorporates technology into the classroom. Like, we have devices like iPads, we have projectors, we have, instead of using a blackboard, we have ceramic whiteboards where we can project digital content, okay? And the students can interact with that in the classroom. So what we did was put together a big team of publishers and start working on a new project, designing new content. It's not so much about giving information to the students. It's a lot more about designing interesting problems for the students. Our first model came out in the year 2000. That took about $5 million investment. And we are now working on a new elementary school model that is taking about $2 million investment. And this next summer, we will start working on a junior high model, which will take almost about the same investment, probably $2 million.
Thanks, Rodrigo. Our next speaker is Brian Wafawarova from South Africa.
I'll start by quickly sharing with you some of the challenges that are faced by education in Africa, and I think it obtains in the rest of the developing world. We need to empower learners to become future citizens who can operate in the 21st centuries through acquiring 21st century skills in IT, communication, mathematics, engineering, science, and commerce. We have to move further towards personalized learning and not focusing on the class only. We need to go into teacher training in terms of subject, content, curriculum, and pedagogy. We need to make sure that as we go into the digital space, we can solve some of the problems that eluded us in the print environment. We also need to move from education product to solutions and systems. I'm concerned that the conversations sometimes are stuck in print and the textbook, when what is really needed are education tools and solutions. I would like to give some of the examples that we have, and one is from South Africa by Pearson South Africa, and one is from Eneza in Kenya. I deliberately chose this because they are very two different countries. So the first one is called Eneza Education, developed in Kenya. They've gone into the ECOWAS community in general. It's a platform that includes interactivity where children can do gamification and compare themselves with their peers. They get interactive feedback. There is a content creation platform. The next one is called Test and Improve, developed by Pearson in South Africa. One of the reasons why learners fail is basically that assessment is usually summative at the end of the year, at the end of a level. There's very little you can do about it. What Test and Improve does is to create a curve, an ideal learning curve per subject, and then test those learners against that curve, and then see what the gap is and come up with intervention that will take the learner to the curve requirement. Their objective is to reach 50 million rural learners in Africa. They are in East Africa now, and they are coming into Southern Africa. One of the things that we have battled with as the publishers associations in Africa is how to have intra-Africa trade. This is a real opportunity now that beyond education, which I believe is very important, there's an opportunity to really drive the economy, jobs, and development through technology that is developed for educational purposes. We need to realize that there is significant education innovations that are taking place in Africa and the developing world. It's no longer a clamor for international content. It's also about how we can develop these solutions ourselves. And the last one is, without that, Africa will be left behind and fail to benefit from the information age again. Thank you very much.
And our last speaker is Malik Obeid from Huruf Huruf Publishers in the United Arab Emirates.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm from Huruf, which is a part of Kalimat Group, a publishing group which is based in UAE. I'm here today to present two applications, which we have been working on it since 2011. The first one is Huruf app, and the second one is Kartus app. Actually, those applications came to answer the increasing level of asking for Arabic content, which is fulfilling all the standards and outcomes required for education, meeting the standards, I mean, and at the same time, which are inspired from the local community, reflecting the local society. Huruf app is a very rich app. We have been working on this since 2011. We launched it in 2013. And since that time, we are adding a new content every year. And we have a big team working on this, creative team, designers. We take into consideration the visuals, the quality, because we want the children to learn in a very engaging manner and with high quality products. We follow the blended learning methodology, so everything, we have it as printed, we have it as digital as well. We have invested in this around $2 million so far, and we are expecting that we should start getting the ROI within 5 years. The second application is Kartoos. It's the first phonics Arabic game. It teaches the child the phonetics. So this is the first running game. It's very challenging and it's very exciting, and it's inspired from the city where they live. It's inspired from the community where they come from, and it's very similar to what they have, what they know, and what they live, and what they experience every day with their families and their friends.